I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hi, and everybody. Welcome to Oops the Podcast. I'm Francis. This is Giulio Gallerati. How are you, Giulio Gallerati?
What's poppin', Francis Ellis?
Here we are, ready to rock. Another episode, another day.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Did we have fun last night?
We had a big night. We had a big night.
These are the things that happen when you hang out with each other. Stories abound, experiences unravel, life begins. And it certainly did last night. Let's set the table, so to speak. So why don't you set that table for us?
All right. So Hill Dog and I thought that as a celebration of Francis' engagement, we would take them out to dinner somewhere cool and hopefully somewhere that we thought they might like. And we put it in the books, and the night came last night.
Yeah, they took us to a restaurant called Crown Shy, which I'd heard of but never been to. I think they opened just before the pandemic, so obviously
Makes sense, yeah.
have kind of only recently, they're still a new restaurant in that way.
Mm-hmm. And
it was probably the best restaurant I've been to in, I don't know, 2 or 3 years.
It was really good, yeah.
It's I'm not just telling you this because you chose it.
Well, no,
That
I don't
restaurant
think
blew me away.
I don't think you are either, but like it was very good for sure. It was good.
Let me ask you something. Why didn't you like it more?
I liked it. Okay, so I liked it a lot. I actually liked it a lot, but I have this thing where I hate when people like try to oversell the things they do for people. So I don't want to be that guy right now.
Oh,
I don't want to be like,
that's such horseshit. Okay.
Isn't it incredible? Dude, you're going to love it. I can't wait to. I want to allow you to make your own opinion. If you don't, you're not obligated to like it.
Yeah, but you've heard my opinion. And
I know.
You know where I stand.
And
so now I need you to get on board with my opinion.
I know. I thought it was really, really fucking good.
It was
amazing.
so much. I was not prepared
It was really
for it to be as good as it was.
Really flavorful, really good.
What kind of food was it?
Fancy American.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I would call it.
It's like in the Michelin Guide.
Really good restaurant food.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have at least a star. I mean, it's not pretentious,
Yeah, true.
They might have a burger on the menu, I'm not sure.
I didn't see one, but it is not pretentious.
No, it's not pretentious, but here's the way I described it. When we walked in, I said to Hill Dog, I said, this feels like when growing up, you'd watch a romantic comedy that was set in New York City, and she'd go on the date with the wrong guy first,
Yeah.
some banker who only talks about himself. This was the restaurant he would take her to. So
He dressed in the classic, like, what I wear in my spare time banker attire.
Yeah.
Being like, so the deal was right on the table. We
Yeah.
were literally at the closing table, and it fell apart.
We were trying to decide whether or not we should do the helm in Nantucket or the Hamptons, and it's Labor Day, so you only get one crack at it.
And Catherine's parents are up there in Nantucket. I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to have a family
And then he
weekend.
goes, somehow he's got that tiny glimmer of self-awareness at one moment because she starts to yawn, and he goes, "Oh, am I boring you?" She goes, no. And he goes, "Oh, okay." And then he goes right back into it. That guy. So this restaurant, right, the setting, it was chic, it was bustling, it was New York. High ceilings, tables that were somewhat close together. Definitely on the noisier side, but we were right in the thick of it. We were
in the thick of it.
We were like that little rock in the middle of the rapids that someone is, being rushed down the river towards the waterfall, and they managed to clutch to it
Directly
right before
in
they
it.
tumble over the cliff. That's where we were seated, and my God, I mean, first of all, you and Sierra ordered all the food for us. We didn't. Hillary and I were left out of that process, but we trusted you.
So there isn't that much stuff on the menu.
Oh,
So we pretty comprehensively, because Francis at one point was like shook that he wasn't involved in the ordering for like a split second, and I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure we got it, and it's like fun. This is fun for you. This
yeah.
one.
Yeah, I didn't know what was coming out, and it was, I mean, there you guys ordered a lot of different things.
There was good variety.
And you know how typically there is a standout item at a really good restaurant where you say, well, yeah, that was solid. These things were solid, but they were kind of lily pads, stepping stones on the way to the grand finale, which was the rabbit au poivre or something like that. Not the case. Every single dish, the tiniest little antipasties to the appetizers to the 2 or 3 entrees that you guys ordered, really every single one, you know, we were passing these plates around and I would go first. People would be like, go ahead. And I'd be like, really, me? Okay, sure. And I'd go first and then it would get all the way around and then I would sort of finish as well. So I got a lot of food.
I'm concerned about making sure Francis eats enough. I want to make sure Francis.
I came home borderline sick. You know, it was a lot of food that I ate. It was an incredible dinner, but I think we can get into this even though we've talked about it and I know it makes you slightly uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
I did not realize that it was Julio and Hillary's intention to treat us to this meal.
Do you really? You didn't know that?
So the text you had sent was like, we want to take you guys out to celebrate your engagement.
Mm-hmm. Did you like later review that? Were you like, okay, let's look at the play-by-play here and see if I just didn't notice and it was obvious?
I think it's my policy to always assume I'm splitting.
Mm-hmm. I guess it wouldn't have been crazy.
That text would not have been enough for me to assume I'm going to a treated dinner tonight.
Mm-hmm. There were red flags that occurred during the dinner that by the time it came, I'm assuming maybe you were leaning. The fact that I was very in control of the ordering process. I know of Sierra as well, but then the wine, which is another funny thing we'll get to. The wine, that wasn't really much of a discussion. I picked. I didn't show any. Like, these are all signs that the bill is being covered.
I had no hand on the wheel. Nobody was letting me be part of the driving process of this whatsoever, which was it was nice. I was very involved in the conversation. You know, I was able to sort of just sit back and say like, surprise me, you know. But I definitely, yes, I guess you're right. I should have picked up on a few of the breadcrumbs throughout the meal, but I guess also in the interest of self-preservation, not being whatever, you know, if I had allowed myself to think this whole dinner is a gift, and then at the end of it, somehow I'd gotten that wrong. One, that sets you up for a much worse scenario. Do you know what I mean? Where like either you have to be like, all right, dude, where's your credit card? And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, or I'm thinking I'm not paying, and then it turns out I am, and then I'm
annoyed.
I'm really disappointed or something. So I'd rather err on the side of I'm splitting.
Right. Okay, it's fair.
But they treated us to this dinner. It was I was floored. I was shocked. I really was.
Dude, I hope you guys had fun, man.
Are you kidding me? It was no one's other than the only people who have ever treated me such a nice dinner are my parents. That's it. There's no one ever in my life, no friend, no birthday I've had. Well, you know what? I said that last night. Quickly, Sierra reminded me that on my birthday she did treat me to a really nice dinner. So I need to throw her a bone there. But I said to Sierra, I was like, man, I feel like a hot chick. Going home, I was like, is this what it's like? I said that to her. I was like, is this what it's like? Just be a hot chick? You know, like go to a dinner and then the bill comes and you're like, this was a sponsored event. Thanks to my beauty, you know?
Oh, that's funny, dude.
So oh God. So tell the wine story because it's very
So there's
funny.
There's a couple of good ones. There's a couple. So I guess I would like to lead into the wine story because there's a couple.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things here. So first of all, I was like 10 minutes late to this dinner which I really didn't want to be. I intended to be exactly on time. I was doing our good pal Hannah Dickinson's show at the Stand. Love her. Great comic. So anyway, I'm running late. I'm on the train. It's perfectly planned out that I'm going to be 10 minutes early. The express train just stops working for some reason. So now I have to get off at Brooklyn Bridge City Hall stop and walk, which is fine, but it's going to make me 10 minutes late, which is fine, whatever. I get there, I'm a little flustered, like whatever. Francis makes a comment about my outfit, which is funny. He's like, dude, look, he's like, Julio's the only guy here wearing a hat and a hoodie. I'm like, whatever.
No, hold on a second. I don't think I said you're the only guy here wearing a hat. I think I said you wear what you want to wear wherever we go, and it works because of your confidence. And
I'm not suggesting that you were ragging on me. You made the observation.
Yeah.
Totally fine. No big
You
deal.
pull it off. But Hillary said you're the only person here wearing a hat. And before the words had finished tumbling from her mouth, Julio had pointed to another guy wearing a hat. It's as if you marked them as you walked in. You were like, there's one, I'm good.
Dude, it's funny because literally a week ago, I went to this restaurant called Hillstone.
Yeah.
That's like it's like a chain, and there's one right near our apartment, and the menu's good, but it like doesn't feel like a New York City restaurant. Like there's like a dress code. There's like a lot of finance bros in there wearing fucking vests and like bright colors. And I was sitting in the dining room, and the person comes out, whoever comes over is like, sir, no hats in the dining room. It's like, bro, we're not in Dallas. Like, don't tell me to fucking take my hat off. This is New York.
Dallas.
That's like some Dallas shit, dude.
Meaning cowboy hats? Take
no,
your
just
cowboy
like
hat off?
no, like fancy Southern, like dress code. Exclude people. Like New York isn't like that. We don't do that here. Take your fucking dress code shoved up your ass.
Yeah.
So that's my whole take. But anyway, so the hat thing is like in my memory. Now, fast forward to we order the wine. Okay, so I'm picking the bottle. We go to order a nice bottle of red. So she goes, I need the number because the sommelier deals with this.
The table had decided they wanted red, not white.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is such a classic Oops the Podcast story. It's insane. Anyway, so the sommelier comes back over and she's like, hey, I saw you wanted XYZ wine. We don't have that one, but we do have these. And she shows me a list, and they're, fucking French. I don't know. Like,
by the way, the wine list is 50 pages. This is an important note because it's not like there's 5 wines under the red and 5 wines under the white.
Correct.
You're on a page, you don't know where you are.
Correct. So she shows me an out of context list of 3 wines that she thinks I will like based on the fact that I had chosen this other wine, right? So I said, great, we'll take that one, right? I just picked the one that I think looks the nicest, whatever. She comes back 10 minutes later. She cracks the wine open. She twists it. She pours a little taste for me to take a sip of, and I noticed that it's white. And I'm like, oh, I thought that we had ordered red. And she's like, no, you chose the da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And Hillary just fucking dart eyes at me in a way that like, I was like, oh my God.
Now, Hillary did not have the context that we just provided.
I had actually picked a bottle of red.
The original bottle he had chosen was red.
It was actually
she
red.
was like, great choice, walked off,
Yes.
came back, said, we don't have that. How about this
The
one
person
instead?
who came back and said we don't have that was a different person than who initially took the order. The original person was the waitress who then passed the message on to the sommelier, became a game of telephone, and somehow the message changed what ended up happening.
Yeah, but to your point, dude, I think that if you choose like a sandwich on a menu and they're like, listen, bad news, we've run out of sandwiches, but I suggest this incredible dish instead. And it's written in some foreign language and you're like, yeah, that sounds good. And then they bring you out like a car radiator. You're like, well, hold on a minute.
Wait a second.
It should at least be in the same field.
Total, dude. So in that moment where it was unclear if I was right or wrong, all I could think was, this is why you need to be careful when you don't dress for the job, because of course the guy in the hoodie and the hat fucked up the wine order.
Oh.
According to the sommelier, she's like, ugh, this like riffraff come in here, which is like never look like the guy who committed the crime. Because one day if a crime's committed, you're going to have explaining to do, even if you didn't do it. So immediately I started sweating. And then I was like, oh, and she's like, can you show me the one that you ordered? And I'm like, yeah, like I had ordered this one. I'm sorry, like out of context, I didn't realize that the names, I just assumed you were showing me things that were similar. And Francis, bless his heart, the fucking champ he is, he goes, dude, that's a totally makeable mistake.
Yeah.
That is a
as
totally
soon as
makeable mistake.
Well, and to your credit, you did not hammer the sommelier for what had happened. You waited until she'd gone away, and then you explained to the table. And I was instantly like, yeah, that's a totally understandable that you if you ask someone for a bottle of red, they tell you we don't have it. Here are some suggestions. Why would he ever assume she's not going to suggest another red wine?
Yeah, exactly. And didn't say red above it. It was a list of 3 wines that I assumed were going to be red.
Honestly, might be the dumbest human I've ever met in my life, that lady. And nothing against, you know what? I shouldn't have said that. But really, pretty dumb. Pretty dumb from her. So, okay.
Dude, but that's the other thing too. She's like, so we heard that you had ordered the blah, 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 blah. She's like, the Côte du Chevalier du Rhône, du Monsieur. And like, I don't, you know what I mean? None of these words mean anything to me.
Right.
So I'm like, yes, we did attempt to order that. She must have told her the wrong number because the wines all had a number next to them. And I was like, 2287. Because they have some cavernous wine cellar, apparently.
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, when she came and said, unfortunately, we were out of that wine, she should probably have at that moment said, what were you considering? What were you looking for? You clarify in that moment, because as you said, that was a game of telephone and it was getting a little staticky.
Right.
The signal was being someone was going through a tunnel. Okay. So, there's more to this, right?
Yeah.
She brings the wine out. We finally get it right. Was there more to this? I don't know. The wine, that might be the wine.
That ended up happening. That was fine. And then at the end of the dinner, I fucked up too again because the bill came and for some reason there was no place to include tip. That may have meant the tip was included. I don't actually know. But then there was like the suggested gratuities, and I'm looking at the bill, and Hillary again starts dart-eyeing over me. I'm like, I swear this isn't my fault. So then I just give it to her, and she does it, and it was like, whatever.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, it's funny you mention that as soon as as the trouble or the confusion set in, that you felt self-conscious about your outfit, right? Mm-hmm. Because to your point, we live in New York City, and it is entirely possible that the guy at the table, the fancy people, wearing the hat and the hoodie is the most successful person at the table.
Very much so.
He could be the record executive or the very popular street artist or
There's there's Peter Pan vibes in New York. Everybody wants to be a boy forever.
Yeah.
So you never know what you're dealing with.
Exactly. And, you came in to the restaurant with so much confidence, so much swagger that you burst past the COVID vaccine check. You got all the way to the table.
That's true.
And they had to chase you down and be like, excuse me, sir, we need to check your vaccine card and your ID. And you're like, don't bother me with the bureaucracy of your policy.
Yeah, that's funny.
Of course I'm vaccinated.
Which then I pulled another sort of like wild card move by pulling my ID and credit card out of my pocket. Clearly, I didn't even have a wallet, which is another potential like, okay, what's this guy's deal?
Loose. Yeah.
Showed her real quick. That's fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
So anyway, we had a spectacular meal. I will say it was my first experience dining with Hillary where the realities of her nut allergy were ever present.
Yeah.
And it is, I'll tell you, it's stressful.
There's protocol. You get used to it.
Well, yeah, but she has to remind with almost each round of food, she's double and triple checking.
She has a really impressive system in place. But yes, she's double checking and she tries to not be annoying about it. She's like, just triple checking, no nuts. At a nice restaurant, they're usually really good about it.
Yeah, I would think that restaurants are so accustomed to this allergy and they know that, if someone is explicit in warning them, I have a peanut allergy, or I have a nut allergy, then it's on them, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
So if they had brought something out where she said, I have a really severe nut allergy, do not put any of this in there, and they say, no problem, we're not going to, and then they do, could she sue them?
I have a very good story about this. So this may be somewhere deep down in the pod, but it's worth retelling in this context. So we went to dinner for Valentine's Day at a very fancy restaurant, like career waiters working there, kind of like at this place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Very, very good service, whatever. We eat the whole meal. We order gelato, which is like a big risk usually because Hillary can't eat it because there's pistachio, such a popular flavor, all this stuff. And it's not in separate containers. She can't take the risk. Right. And we made sure, the guy even said, he's like, the nut flavors are not even next to the non-nut flavors. You're fine. And she goes, okay, great. We order coffee. The coffee comes out. She starts eating it. She's like, this is hazelnut. And I was like,
the ice cream.
yes. I was like, are you serious? She's like, this is hazelnut. We call the waiter over and tell him. He just starts literally breaking down. We see him run into the corner of the restaurant and put his hands on top of his head. Dude, I'm not kidding. Puts his fucking hands on top of his head and he's like,
what the fuck are we gonna do?
dude, the manager comes over and is like, guys, I am so sorry. Here's my card. Dinner's on the house.
Yeah, but then what?
So we
does
like,
she have to do EpiPen?
she takes a bunch of Benadryl. We monitor it. Like it ends up not being a severe thing. And we suspect that hazelnuts perhaps are not as severe as the other thing, but she did start having a reaction.
Her worst is cashews.
Cashew, pistachio, and then kind of like going down the ladder.
Wait,
from
is
there.
it a hierarchy or are cashews and pistachios equally evil?
It's like a neck and neck situation on any given day. The one person kind of
Or you
beat
might
out the
say
other.
esophagus and esophagus. It's close. Okay. So
anyway,
Yeah.
fucking dinner on the house, which by the way, that was gonna be a super expensive meal. And I was like, I think we're onto something here.
yeah.
Not actually, but dude. So that has only happened to us once in our experience.
Yeah.
Where like, because usually she has such a system of checks and balances that like we would never even get to that point where she's eating something that could be, you know what I mean?
Well, it's amazing the point you make because it's almost as if she were up for it, you could go to a really fancy restaurant, get to the dessert, do all your checks and balances or checks and it takes one bite of the ice cream. She keels over, starts gasping. You get some kind of fake EpiPen, kind of like those daggers they have in theater, that where you pretend to stab and the blade just goes in. And miraculous. But you're getting all those meals for free, probably. If you could throw that scene at the end of every one.
If it's a good enough restaurant, they will know that
Yeah.
the reaction doesn't happen that quickly.
I
It takes
I
like
asked
half
Hillary because I was asking her, give me the rundown of the few times in your life that you've had to get the EpiPen, and she said it's like 3 or 4 different times.
Mhm.
And I had this thought, which I brought up to you. I wonder if people with nut allergies brag about how many times they've been EpiPenned the way that like 50 Cent would brag about how many times he'd been shot to help increase his street credibility and the sales of Get Rich or Die Trying, which was his sort of debut album that rose him to prominence. And forced me, of course, to buy tickets to see him and G Unit when they came to the Civic Center in Portland, Maine when I was in 7th grade. So, yeah, I do wonder about that. And she told me all those stories, but it is amazing.
So, dude, it can be really stressful. And honestly, thank God that's why we got our Dadgrass.
Dadgrass. Yeah, no, but who needs an EpiPen when you've got Dadgrass?
Dude, I gotta be honest, Dadgrass has like really changed my life. I know that sounds like such a classic thing you'd say when you're selling an ad, but I swear to God, like Dadgrass has allowed me to enjoy the ritual of smoking a joint because it is smokable CBD.
Yeah.
You can buy pre-rolls. It comes in a sweet little box. Mom and Dadgrass. Hill Dog and I both burning it down. And dude, I'm not getting high school high. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about smoking half a joint and immediately calling my parents and being like, I don't spend enough time with you.
Yeah.
Or like eating everything. It's
Who's
like
driving us to 7-Eleven?
getting high without the high, dude. Honestly, it's really, really good shit.
I'm waiting for my package to arrive and I'm very eager.
Dude, it's so fucking good. You guys got to try it. All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 21 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the U.S. It's legal, organic, smokable, hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your mind. 100% organic pre-roll joints, very low in THC and very high in CBD. You can enjoy the effects of CBD while keeping a very clear head. Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off of your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/oops. 20% is a pretty solid discount. Highly recommend. Go to dadgrass.com/oops. 20% off your first order. dadgrass.com/oops. Check it out.
Nice.
Dude, so another funny thing that happened, very fucking on brand. I cannot believe this happened at dinner. We're looking at the cocktail menu, and at first I thought Sierra and I had ordered the same drink. And then you order your drink, Hillary orders her drink. The drinks all come out, and there's 2 drinks that look the same, and they look super fucking normal. There's like a big ice cube in the middle, and it's like whatever looking. And then there's this one stupid, like yellow drink with ice overflowing with the top with a leaf coming out of it. And I was like, haha, Francis, or you ordered the stupid drink this time. As I'm saying it, the waitress puts it right in front of me. And I'm like, God damn it. Again, I ordered the stupidest looking drink on the menu.
I posted an Instagram story of Julio holding his ridiculous drink, and everyone was like, is that a snow cone? The ice is so piled outside of the drink. It's insane.
It's the stupidest drink of all time.
I bet it was delicious.
It was fucking
though.
delicious.
It's
Yeah.
so delicious
Mezcal.
looking.
Dude, but classic, of course.
You
but-
know a restaurant is really high quality when they have multiple different types of ice.
That is very true.
So get this. So my drink had the one big square kind of molded cube of ice, which I really like. I like a big cube. They
I like it
say
too. Yeah.
that when there's one big consolidated cube of ice, it actually dilutes slower. So it waters your drink down slower so you can enjoy it longer.
Makes sense. I love that.
But then they also had those kind of, I don't even know what you'd call them. They almost look like deer droppings of ice. Little deer dropping kind of balls. Pellets of ice. Tons of them. And that's what yours was filled with.
Yeah.
And it looked fragrant and fruity and delicious. And I wish I'd had some of that too.
It was good, but somebody actually made a very good point in my DMs. It was like, so much ice, very little drink. And even though I tend to finish my drinks quickly, I did feel like 3 sips in, it was like the drink was toast. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So at the end of the meal, to wrap this up, I start pulling my credit card out, fishing it out of my bag, and Julio's not stopping me. So I say to myself, oh, well, good. Then I think I was right. I think we are splitting this. Great. And by the way, throughout the dinner, as we're ordering, I'm watching them bring these things out, and I'm like, holy shit.
You're like adding it up.
Like, this is a big dinner. We're going to have to start a Patreon, like, holy smokes, dude. I don't mind swinging for the fences, but like, hey, a little consultation in the bathroom, like,
Dude,
hey,
it was your special boy day.
well, it was so kind, but so I'm like, okay, yeah, so I am, whatever, I'm paying for all this. And then, but Julio's not seeing me pull the credit card out.
I saw you. I just wasn't going to nip it in the bud until the bill actually came.
I see.
But I'm sure you're getting to this next point.
Hillary, in the most classic, her signature line, turns to me and goes, what are you doing? What are you doing?
That is such a good hill dog, dude.
What are you doing? And I was like, oh, what am I doing? And I'm like, come on, split it, right? She's like, no, absolutely not. Like, and does her thing, like, basically like shames me down. And I'm like, okay,
Dude, you really, I'm really impressed by that impression for a couple reasons. You got the sound right, the cadence, but you also got the physicality down. Because most people's heads rest a little forward from their shoulders. And when Hill Dog goes into Hill Dog mode, her neck and back become aligned.
Oh, yeah.
She goes back.
She lengthens.
She becomes like a small prairie animal who sees a predator in the distance.
Yeah.
She becomes tall and alert. What the fuck are you doing? Dude, so that is when I guess we started discussing that. But yeah, dude, you guys are fucking paid.
No, it was amazing. It was so kind. And I said to Julia, well, we'll return the favor when you guys get engaged. And I instantly regretted it. Regretted it. Well, because here's why, Julio. In fact, it's this weird phenomenon where I think maybe you guys are not so close. I don't know, but you're not so close that those jokes are fine. They just bounce off of you. But the closer you get, and first of all, the more jokes or hints people will drop.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're getting closer, at least for me, it bothered me more and more.
Interesting.
For two reasons. One, as a control freak, a little bit. I don't know if I'd say control freak, but you start to feel if people are making those jokes or hints in your presence that they are taking almost the choice of it out of your hands.
Interesting.
They're
don't feel that
forcing the issue. They're calling out the elephant in the room, which you've already got harnessed, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say, like, calm down, shut the fuck up. I've got a leash on this thing. I have a plan. Don't talk about it anymore. This is my deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I started to feel. But two, the more that people speak about it or hint about it, especially in her presence, with her around, the more you start to think like you're stepping on the surprise.
Mm-hmm. I feel you. You're like, stop reminding her that this is something that is possible because is it happening
You're kind
soon?
of you're wedging open the ring box itself.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
And people ask you really like ridiculous questions like what's your game plan?
Mhm.
When are you going to do it? What does the ring look like? How did you get it? And I wanted to, so many times I wanted to just say like, none of your fucking business. Let her be the first to find out. After that, we'll tell everyone the story. But to me, there is this weird, I wanted to protect the surprise for her and for me. You know, this is our deal. Get your stupid fingers out of the pie. It hasn't finished cooling yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I don't. Yeah, it doesn't bother me though.
So
don't
you're
worry
still
about it.
outside of the strike zone, so to speak. But you're going to find, in short order, people are going to start. I don't know how far away it'll be, but people smell it. You know, people start smelling it. Oh, he's on the verge. He's gearing up. Now I want to get involved. I want him to know my 2 cents. You should make it between the two of you. It's a special, intimate moment.
Well, for all of our fucking wonderful listeners out there, I'm sure that, and people have been messaging us this, but the scent, it must have been so interesting for them to watch it unfold without you, like they probably knew before you even knew, which is so interesting. Like when you behave in a certain way, it's amazing how people can pick up on things that you yourself can't necessarily pick up on.
I know.
Like, is he hearing himself? This is going down.
I always think of the podcast as this safe space where only me, you,
I know.
Chris, and our lovely, handsome intern, Ryan, who might be my biological son, know about it, right? Because as of this moment, right, as we sit here and record, this isn't live, this isn't radio.
Mhm.
So the reality is that this will be heard by hundreds, if not millions of thousands of people. That's right, millions,
of thousands of people.
Doesn't set in because it's not going to happen yet,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And then by the time that it does happen, I forget that I said those things, which is why I so often get into trouble. Anyway.
Well, if you want to be here for when we record, I'm not sure. We haven't exactly pinned down the specific format, but we got a live show coming. What?
We
Fran?
do have it.
Yeah.
We have it.
We got a
It's
live show.
locked.
Locked in December 1st, City
December
Winery.
1st, City Winery.
It's going to be awesome.
That ticket link is going to be available at, I'll have it on francisellis.com.
I'll have it in my bio on Instagram as well.
And also Instagram bio, but also oopsthepodcast.com. You could check it out, right? I think we can throw the ticket link up on there. No?
We make maybe, but we,
All right, we'll check
we have
out.
to get to that.
It'll be available on the Oops the Podcast Instagram account. You'll find
You'll
it.
be able
see
to
it.
find
You'll
it.
find it.
It'll
You'll
be
see
very
it.
You'll be able to
findable.
find
That's where it'll be.
So come to that. We're going to give some stuff away. We're going to have a lot of fun.
New York City.
It's going to be a fucking oops orgy.
Extravaganza.
Everything we got.
Yeah,
Everything we do, you're getting a little taste of it all, baby.
If you like it, you will have it.
Bring condoms
Yeah.
and a good attitude.
Yeah, lots to unpack here. All your favorites, all your hits.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, the things you know and love about the pod.
The whole
Can
squad.
I say something
Chris,
first? When
what's
you
up?
were telling that story about knowing that you didn't like have it wrong. You were both like yelling at me like you've never talked in my life. You're both like staring at me like, oh, you really need to know this right now.
About the wine thing?
Yeah.
Chris, I know what you're thinking.
No, you were both so intensely like, Chris, listen to me right now. You need to understand this. And it was so funny. I wish I took
That's
a video.
funny. Oh,
You
I didn't-
never have talked like that to me. And you
love
both didn't like not make eye contact with me the whole time.
Well, sometimes I try not to look at Ryan because I'm so attracted to him. But, and then it's just you and G. We're coming into the fall and the winter now, Julio.
Oh, we sure are.
Are you getting a new wardrobe at all?
Yeah, you know what I'm getting.
What are you getting?
Some bird diggity dogs.
Bird dogs going with the joggers?
Dude, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's the
the-
best fall pant.
It's a good fall pant.
Warm, insulated,
It helps you show off your ankles.
ready to rock, and you don't got to wear no underwear.
No undie pantsies.
What a wonderful thing.
They have the built-in underwear liner. They're comfortable. They're sleek, fashionable. It's everything you might want in a pant. We love the Bird Dog pants, joggers, and shorts. We live in them. We swear by them. I'm wearing them right now.
You sure are.
I really am. These are Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com. Use promo code OOPS, and you will get a whistling football that makes a sound like this as it travels through the air to your son.
If for some reason you get something else, please let us know because we love to hear about what wacky thing they're sending out next.
That's it.
Birddogs.com. Check it out. So, dude, we don't usually do this. I have a news story. This is like a page 5 news story, so it's more evergreen than the average news story, so I don't feel concerned talking about it. I don't know if you heard about this. There was a, quote, terrorist attack in Norway.
Oh, yeah. Bow and arrow.
Yeah. Some guy shot 5 separate people with a bow and arrow. I don't know if anybody died.
We got to look this up.
We got to make sure we get that right because we know that what kind of trouble that can get us in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But dude, I got to be honest. Can you imagine getting shot with a bow and arrow? Like
No,
if I got
the thought of it alone makes me quiver.
You son of a gun. 5 people died?
Are they all dead?
That's
really?
crazy,
Come
dude.
on, Ryan. Right after my joke.
Dude.
Now I can't make the jokes.
Yeah, listen, they're dead. It's really fucking sad. But first of all, fucking Legolas is sitting up there in a tree. If I got shot by a bow and arrow and died, I would literally look at my chest and go, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I know.
That is an absurd way to die.
It really is. It is so it's so hard to have it only be tragedy. Do you know what I mean? Because it's preposterous.
Dude, it's insane.
But also a bow and arrow, we don't see it as a weapon of terrorism.
Right.
And so it feels like it's almost like hearing that someone was killed via catapult.
Dude, yeah, you literally.
Like he got hit by a rogue.
Yeah.
What
He was storming the wall.
what is it when they would ride the horses with the spear at each other?
Jousting?
Yeah, some guy was off track jousting and ran over him at a Whole Foods. Oh God.
We were in, like there was no room to jump out of the way. Dude,
so
it's
antiquated.
an absurd way to die.
Yeah.
I feel like, dude, what do you even, obviously it must be terrible for the people's families, like obviously, but it's like, are you serious? Like, God, dude, that is so shitty.
Yeah,
Apparently
really tough.
2 other people are in the hospital too. So he shot more than
With
that.
arrow
7?
wounds.
Yeah.
That is a guy who really can draw arrows quickly.
Seriously.
Unless he went from, one sort of camouflaged position and then relocated to another, like a sniper. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Got them one at a time.
Put the suitcase down.
But
put
if
it
he
in the
just went
suitcase.
into like a mall,
Dude,
I mean,
how do you even get in? Like, you're holding a bow. How do you even get into a mall? He must have been in like a window or something. Like you said,
Yeah.
it must have been like
Or
that's
a-
a giant red flag. You're walking through a populated area with a bow.
what's
If this helps, it was a crossbow, so it's not like the big.
Oh
full,
shit! So he was
Yeah.
so
okay?
the trigger.
But you got
Still
those are
insane.
not that easy to reload. You got to pull
Yeah.
really hard on the. Oh,
I hope it
man.
wasn't fucking Lars Anderson, dude. You ever see that YouTube video?
No.
There's this There's this YouTube video of this guy who's like the most incredible bow and arrow shooter, and it tells you all this stuff about how like back in the day, people who were the best archers had to be able to shoot from horses.
Oh yeah.
So like you would hold 3 arrows at a time. So this guy does all this shit and it's incredible. Then it shows like videos of him like turning around and splitting a blade in half and like all this stuff. And dude, I showed my dad and I'm like, isn't this cool? And like at 30 seconds into watching, he just goes, this guy is an idiot. I'm like, that's really fucking funny. It is true. This guy's an
Why would
archer.
you say that?
Because he's just, who is this guy spending all his time on archery, dude? Like, he's like popping out and shooting a bear with his foot. Like, you gotta watch this video.
But here's the thing.
YouTube archery videos.
How many people watch the video on YouTube?
Millions.
See,
Dude.
this is my point, right? It doesn't matter what your skill is if you can get millions of views on YouTube.
He's on a motorcycle. It's just very silly.
I like that.
But you should check it out if you haven't.
Yeah, yeah. If he were just doing it as a party trick, I'd be like, yeah, that's too much skill for something that has so little value.
Use your bows responsibly.
Yeah, but if you're able to say YouTube, that's pretty sick.
Dude, yeah, crazy.
I love it.
Sorry, I'm like truly all my thoughts and wishes go out to the families of the victims.
Let me tell you something, G. That's not going to be good enough. That whole thing we just did there. If people are okay with it, great. If they're not, we apologize. We're not trying to make light.
Dude, listen. There's sometimes death needs to be discussed.
Yeah,
This is one of those times.
Yeah, agreed.
You know.
Okay, fair enough. So what else is there to talk about? Because there's so much to talk about.
So I got a thing that is. So I've been trying to find a SIM card because I'm going to be traveling. And I looked at the Verizon coverage map, and even though the travel pass technically works, I'm going to get shitty service, so I need to get a SIM card. I made the mistake of going to it. So the authorized store is almost like the same as going to a Subway that isn't owned by Subway. And you can tell like they're really skimp you on the meat because like it's their like only business. You know what I mean? Like you can tell. So going to the Verizon authorized dealer is sort of like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in there to ask these guys about SIM cards. They very quickly realize that like I'm not going to buy anything. And then they're like, have you thought about upgrading? I'm like, dude, no. Like I'm not upgrading from you. Are you serious? Like you're so sketchy. Like why would I upgrade my phone at this store? You know what I mean? I'm going to go to the real store.
Right.
If I'm going to upgrade, right?
Right.
Is this relatable to you at all?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like if I'm going to get a new phone, I'm going to do it in the proper way. Why would I not?
What's the proper way?
Well, I mean, dude, listen, if you guys are thinking about switching your carrier, Mint Mobile, honestly, it could be the move.
Yeah.
It is a very affordable and solid alternative. And because, dude, like after years of fine print contracts getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we have learned anything, there's always a catch, right?
Yeah.
So when I heard of Mint Mobile Premium Wireless, I had to check it out. $15 a month, dude. 15.
That's the cheapest I've ever heard.
$15 a month. That's crazy. That's a crazy amount of money.
It's really not bad at all. My mobile bill right now is just insane.
Dude, yeah. Like I honestly, dude, check it out because all the plans come with unlimited talk and text, high-speed data, and it's a gigantic, one of the nation's largest 5G networks. Dude, also, if you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee. Switch to Mint Mobile Premium Wireless Service, $15 a month. Get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month. And get the plan shipped to your door for free. Go to mintmobile.com/oops. Mintmobile.com/oops. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month.
Yeah.
Mintmobile.com/oops.
Mint Mobile is the real deal. I don't know how we all got on board with the fact that we have to pay such exorbitant prices for
phones.
For
dude.
phones. I think it's because we use our phones so much that we can justify paying a ton for them. But the reality is, if you go back, I remember the first cell phone I got, by the way, which was a huge deal, Nokia brick.
Oh, I'd like to talk about this.
Yeah. I remember
Where you had to hit the button 3 times to get to the letter C.
Yeah.
ABC.
Going
I was so
into
fast.
the store, right, at the mall was the most exhilarating thing ever. I think I was in 8th grade when I got my first cell phone, Nokia brick.
Sounds right. Yeah,
might have been freshman year. I'm not certain.
Yeah, I think I was a sophomore in high school, and I was texting my girl Katya, love of my life, all day, fucking do,
Interesting.
ripping text with the
I
whole
was
thing.
super late to the text game. I didn't really get into the texting thing for real until I was at least a junior.
Interesting.
But getting a cell phone, you know, it was because all of a sudden we were staying later at school. We had sports practices. My mom wouldn't necessarily know, or my dad, where to pick us up. So we had to be able to communicate more easily.
Smart.
That was why we got cell phones. And I felt thrilled to get a phone. And I remember being in there thinking, man, these are so cool. But I still remember also, I vaguely remember the prices being like, well, you'll get this phone for free if you sign up for a 1-year contract for like $30 a month. Because there's no data back then.
Right.
There's no long distance calling. We weren't, it's the most simple. I wasn't texting. I didn't have a texting plan really.
Yeah.
They were calling my
SMS.
parents nearby.
Yeah.
They basically walkie-talkies.
Yeah, and dude, I mean, I was like the Lewis and Clark of texting. Like I was so ahead of the game with texting that like I would just text in class, and teachers didn't even know the telltale signs for texting in class yet. So like I was just fucking ripping off texts. I love you. I love you so much.
Oh yeah.
Right now we can't act on it because it'll ruin our friendship, but just know that we'll be together forever. Classic, like in the friend zone texting.
That's nice.
I was in the friend zone hard.
Yeah.
I wasn't man enough, dude, to sweep her off her feet.
But you would tell them you loved them
I told her that this specific person, I would tell her that I loved her. Yeah,
all the time.
she had moved from Russia, and we really liked each other. But dude, I was a year younger than her, and she was definitely much more mature than me, and I just like wasn't man enough to make the move, even after I was given a makeover by her best friend to
Did she
to.
tell you she loved you back?
Yeah, we loved each other, but in a way where you didn't know that was insane. Because it was your first time feeling these complex emotions.
So what would you do?
So we would go to the prom together and then sleep on the floor and stay up all night and rub noses and do nothing more.
Are you kidding?
No.
You slept over with each other?
And then nothing happened, yeah.
What kind of weird shit is that?
I'll tell you what, man. I didn't have the skills to pay the bills yet,
No,
pal.
I'm not even saying like, man, you should have whipped it out and see what she did. Like, no.
I should have at least gone for a kiss.
Well, it's almost okay. My point is, my parents probably wouldn't have allowed me to do a sleepover with a girl at that age.
I think because it was the prom, somehow I like talked them into letting me sleep over her house.
Interesting. Like that to me, doing a sleepover with a girl and rubbing noses all night is almost like that. To me, that's third base.
It's funny because it's literally like me saying to my parents, though, we're just going to rub noses and them believing me and then it being true.
Oh.
Because that's clearly a lie normally.
Surely our son is too passive to actually do anything that would cause an issue. So yeah, go ahead, son. Have a good time.
Have a good time,
Rubbing noses all night.
Our ends. Dude,
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Fucking pretty sad. All right, dude, I got something for you.
Oh, good. Please.
This is good. End of the night. It's Saturday night, or it was Friday night. Hanging out with good old Hill Dog, and we're trying to hail a cab because taking an Uber, as you know, has become unaffordable. It's like fucking taking an Uber in Scandinavia or something. Dude, whatever. It's not affordable. So we're trying to hail a cab. We get one. Amazing. The girl who's getting out of the cab gets out of the cab. Looks like a normal girl. Great. Walks out. I get in the cab. I sit down. I'm like, all right, say my address. Put my hand down. Feel something. I look down, hand covered in vomit. I just sat in vomit in the taxi. And before the taxi even started to move, I go, dude, somebody puked in your cab. He goes, what? What? And I'm like, sorry, dude. Like, our nights are both ruined. So now I get out of the cab. I now am covered in puke. Where do I go? What do I do? I made the mistake of smelling my hand. I almost puked from that, and now I'm just covered in puke, trying to figure out a way to get home.
Oh no!
I like rub it on the side of like a brick wall or something. Get it off as much as I can. I start doing like the bear when a bear like massages their own back on a tree.
Yeah,
I'm like
feels
doing
good.
that.
Yeah,
and then we get in another cab. I try to like sit on my right ass cheek and not my left to like not pukify that guy's car.
Yeah.
And then make it home. But dude, it took another 45 minutes. It was fucking terrible.
Okay, I'm gonna make a very general statement here that might come off as sexist. So just know that I'm aware that that's what's happening. I find that women are less likely to own up to puking than men.
Like in a cab?
Cab, anywhere.
So I find that to be interesting. I find that women are able to puke. Like any woman that I've known who's like been puking, I almost don't even know they're doing
That's
it.
my point.
They can like stealthily go to the bathroom,
stealthy about
puke,
it.
finish, you're good. If I'm puking, you know that I'm puking.
If I'm puking, the next town knows that I'm puking.
Dude, one time I remember I was sick on Christmas morning and I was puking, and I'm in the house with my cousins and stuff, and I came downstairs later. My cousin's like, dude, like you puke insane. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it sounded like somebody was like cutting wood up there. So it was like,
Yeah. No control.
You know?
Very, very loud. Did I ever tell you about the time that I guess it was my 22nd birthday. I'm a senior on the lacrosse team in college. We go out to Wednesday night. We went to Splash. Splash was the nightclub in Boston.
I think
You probably went there. It was big with the BU
It was like near
crowd.
the. I think that they changed the name.
Oh, did they?
I think, but I know
I
that
don't think
place.
it was
Was
too-
it in the alley? You know the alley? That was
I think
Encore.
so.
That was Encore.
Oh, that place was cooler.
That place was cool. Okay.
That was cooler.
I'm
than
sure I had
Splash.
been to Splash.
Splash was pretty not great. But we went and we were there Wednesday night. And so we had a policy on the team. It was like 48-hour rule where you weren't supposed to drink within 48 hours of a game. So they didn't want us
interesting.
drinking hard on Thursday night. Definitely not Friday night. But basically after the game, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, you go ahead and blow up.
Going hard.
So we went to this nightclub, and it was my 22nd birthday. Bunch of guys on the team came, and I was drinking tequila shots pretty much as like that the whole night. And I still remember it got to the point where the tequila stopped tasting bad. And I was like, oh, these are going down so smooth.
The telltale sign.
Boy, this tequila got better.
Of a
You know, is this? Did they give me are they going for the higher shelf stuff
Is
now?
this a reposado?
Yeah. And I remember thinking like, oh, I finally acquired the taste. Because people had always told me it's an acquired taste. I'm like, well, little did I know, it just took one night. You just had to break through that threshold. So I go home, whatever, pass out. I think this is still to this day the drunkest I've ever been. Because we wake up the next day. I wake up and I'm feeling great. We go to lunch. My girlfriend at the time takes me out to lunch. When we got to lunch, that's when it finally started catching up. Because I was so drunk
Yeah.
all morning.
Yeah. The 1 p.m.
So drunk still until lunch.
It's tough.
And then all of a sudden my body was like, oh, you just knock, knock. You've been poisoned. Like, just a quick reminder. Unfortunately, we have to deal with this. You've poisoned us, and now we're going to call the piper. So at lunch, my girlfriend had taken me to a really nice restaurant. I go into the bathroom. I spend the entire bathroom lunch in the bathroom throwing up. So sad. Then I get back to campus. We have practice. We have a film session in the locker room before practice. I remember I'm throwing up all afternoon. I can't even keep a sip of water down.
Ugh,
And I have to go to practice. You have to go to practice.
those are the worst.
And because a bunch of guys on the team had also been out there with me the night before. So they knew that I couldn't like call in sick or something. They would be like, we saw you drinking. We know what's up. I go to the training room and I pull our physical trainer in confidence into a room. And I'm like, listen, I am in really bad shape. I can't even say I'm hungover. I'm like sick from drinking. What can I do? And he's like, he gives me some like vitamins and like, he's like, try to drink some Gatorade. So I try to take a couple sips of Gatorade. We go back up. We watch this film we're watching game film, preparing for playing Penn or something like that. And I had taken a sip of the Gatorade while we were watching the film. I have to go into the bathroom in the locker room, which is connected to the locker room area, and throw up. And so I go in there as they're doing film. So nobody's talking. It's just our coach is being like, watch out for this guy. He's a lefty and he can really sneak up from behind the cage. I'm throwing up and like people are hearing it, and I had to come back out and I had to tell the coach I had food poisoning.
Biggest lie in history.
Yeah, but fortunately, and the team all knew.
Right.
And then the next night later that night, I had to write an email to the team apologizing because I was like, look, a lot of I went a little too hard last night. It was my birthday. I was still drunk when I got over the river to practice at 5 p.m. And that's why I was throwing up. I realized like this is unacceptable. I'll clean it up, or whatever. And they were cool. Like people were like, yeah, we fucking everyone on the team had done that at some point. So, but that was bad. Still throwing up at 5 p.m. the next day.
There's something really shitty about that. About like a situation where you can't be puking, but you're puking.
Yeah.
Like I remember the first time I got sick like that, I was like towards the end of high school. And like, I remember like when we first started drinking, like we just find whatever alcohol was in the house if we didn't have like beers.
Yeah.
So then you just end up drinking like cooking wine and like shit that's been there for like 40 fucking years. So we're just like drinking this old bottle of dusty gin.
Yeah.
And like I get so sick. And the next day I'm like at my friend's house the whole day still. And both of his parents are there and awake. And it's pouring outside. So I don't want to puke in the house or they'll know that I'm. So every like hour and a half, I'm sprinting outside in the middle of this rainstorm to puke. And I come back in the house soaking wet and have to like try to fucking shake it. Dude, it was just so shitty. Those rookie mistakes.
I am somebody who I've thrown up a lot in my life, but it's always a controlled throw up. You know how firefighters fighting forest fires, they'll set up a controlled burn?
Yes.
They like to burn the fuel for the approaching fire.
They burn the perimeter
to try to stop it.
I've never been able to get to this, what you're going to say.
Yeah, so I from still never forget, when we first got to college, you take that alcohol seminar, that alcohol aware and alcohol EDU. And they teach you, they instill the fear of God in you about asphyxiating in your sleep on your own vomit.
God. Jesus.
If you're really drunk and you go to bed, make sure you're on your side. If you see someone who's really drunk, put them on their side so that they don't throw up and on their own and then choke on their own vomit and die. So that was like my number one fear in college.
So dude, I remember we had a similar seminar and it was really funny because that was like the first slide, but then when you get to slide 3 or 4, they start making other suggestions and they're like, if you happen to be super hungover, just go make yourself a delicious cup of Brooklyn Roasting Company coffee.
Oh, did they say that? Wow.
I was like, oh my God, what an omen.
What a bougie alcohol seminar that must have been. Good for them. That's not what they said at Harvard. I would have thought they would have said that at Harvard.
Well, it was a nice segue into the sex ed portion of the seminar as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we all know what accompanies a cup of Brooklyn Roasting Company coffee.
Practice safe sex, and if you want to practice recurring sex, make sure you bring her a cup of Brooklyn Roasting in the morning.
Dude, our favorite coffee.
The best coffee in the world. I have it every single day, and it's always my favorite. Everything in my day, nothing is as good as my cup of Brooklyn Roasting coffee in the morning.
Sign up for the Coffee of the Month Club.
That's it.
Send you some delicious stuff.
What's our promo code, Julio?
Oops Beans.
How much did you get?
5% off.
Yeah. That's it. Oops Beans, promo code. You get 5% off. BrooklynRoasting.com. Get some coffee today. We love the Mocha Java. Oh, baby.
Let's bring us out here with a little email. What do you say?
Yes.
Or did you have more to
Well,
say
I
about
wanted
that?
to
Sorry.
tell you that
My bad.
that I
My
would
bad.
almost preemptive, like if I got home super drunk and I knew I was so afraid of going to sleep drunk about throwing up that I would almost induce myself to vomit.
Yeah.
And I got very good at it. I was very good at pulling the trigger, as they say. And but I also was always ashamed of throwing up. And so if I felt like I was going to throw up, I would often walk a long way away from a party, go outside, go into the woods,
Oh wow.
like some dog going to die.
Jesus.
You know,
You gotta
and
do
I
what you
would
gotta
go
do,
really
man.
far away, and I would throw up and clear myself up, and then I would come back, and
Be ready to rock.
I never wanted to do it in a bathroom near where people were like sleeping or whatever. I was always ashamed of it. So I know what you mean by that, running outside. Anyway, that's my throwing up method.
Okay, let's rip an email real quick.
Oh, emails.
So we had talked a little bit about last names when it comes to marriage and stuff.
Oh, yes.
So I know you have thoughts about this.
Good.
So what order shall we do this? Shall we do the email followed by your?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
So this is an interesting one. Hi, Oops the P.
Hello.
Love the podcast.
OTP.
I cannot remember if you discussed this topic, but in light of Francis' recent engagement, congrats. I'm wondering your thoughts on women changing their names after marriage. I am recently married and opted not to change my name. This is for a couple of reasons. One, I am 30 and have lived 30 years with my current name. Two, I am an attorney and changing my name would require a lot more admin work as I would have to change my credentials and legal filings. And three, and I found this one to be pretty interesting, Francis, and I know you agree, my husband is half Nigerian and has a very Nigerian sounding last name. But as a white woman, I did not want people to think, especially in a job application situation, they were going to be interacting with a person of color and end up with a very white person.
Wow.
Me. That's a very interesting thing.
Wow, that is
Right?
interesting.
Sometimes my husband grumps that I did not change my name, but I told him very early on into us dating that I had no plans of changing my name if I ever got married, regardless of who I married or what the last name was, even though his last name happens to be super badass. For other contexts and thoughts, we agreed that if we have kids, they will have his last name and my last name will be the kid's middle name. I think this would be an interesting topic.
Yeah, no, this is great. And it is funny because we brought it up. Sierra and I were talking about it, I think, yesterday. Well, for her case, I think she's spot on.
Yeah.
I mean, fundamentally, the professional realities sort of dictate it for her, I feel like. And I'm not talking about the Nigerian
race
last
thing,
name.
Yeah.
I think simply put, you've developed a brand under yourself.
Right.
LinkedIn, resumes, all this stuff. People know you by a name.
Right.
Oh, headhunters, anyone who might have worked with you in the past. You've got a professional reputation that isn't built under your name. So all of a sudden to change that completely, and we are a country that identifies people by their last name professionally, right?
Mhm.
You're basically starting fresh in a lot of ways. Why would you undo some of that,
Totally. Yeah, man, it's interesting. And the thing about the last name being misleading is an interesting
Yeah,
thing to talk about.
it is. I mean,
'Cause my first instinct was kind of like, oh my God. But then I realized I'm like, oh, she doesn't mean it like that. She means it like she's applying for jobs and all of a sudden people think that they, that she's like a diversity hire or
Yeah,
something. Am I even allowed
right,
to say that? Is this
right. Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
fine.
this is taboo.
no, that's fine.
You know what I mean? Like
I think that's fine.
So you think you're interacting with one person and then all of a sudden you're not. And it's just like to avoid any sort of confusion.
Yeah.
I understand why that is something that could be applicable. I don't know.
I think that's a great point, and I do think, fortunately, that with hiring and, it would be impossible almost that she might get hired by a company who only realizes that she's white on her first day on the job.
Right.
It
Right.
wouldn't get that far, but I totally agree. There's something, I don't know.
Right. Like you have, like she has some kind of leg up, like, or it's almost like can make her look bad too. Like she's trying to like get a foot in the door, having a leg up by having like a
Yeah.
unique name. I don't know.
I
don't even know how to talk about this because I'm afraid that I'm going to say something that sounds fucked up.
I kind of agree with you, but I also think it's a really unique and kind of interesting thing, and I don't think she could go. If she had taken his name by her choice and went by that, it would be very interesting to see her sort of introduce herself
Yeah,
that way.
dude. It's almost like it's something that could be in a sitcom.
Or it
could lead to a lot of funny
register the
situations.
surprise. Undoubtedly, there would be surprise. If someone told me that so Mrs. So and So was coming, and she had this incredible Nigerian last name, and then she arrived and was just blonde white woman. I would definitely think like that's not kind of what I was expecting.
Right. You never know.
Yeah.
You never
Yeah.
fucking know.
What's in a name?
So speaking of which,
That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet.
is that Shakespeare?
Sure is, bro. The bard.
I'm so proud that the most obvious literature reference I was able to get. So what are you guys gonna do?
Yeah. So what I don't know. Someone wrote a save the date to us as, the future Mr. and Mrs. Ellis, which made us both laugh. Because it's, we haven't really discussed it, but immediately I was like, well, what are you thinking? And she was like, well, what do you want? Or she told me what she was thinking. She was thinking she might do a hyphenated last name. And then she was like, what do you think? And I was like, I do not have an ounce of an opinion. But I was raised in such a feminist household that the thought of me weighing in on whether or not you should take my name is so fucking toxic to me and has been impressed on me that is not my business, that I would not deign to have any sort of opinion on this.
Right, because there's a way to quote not have an opinion, but then show very obvious disappointment. You're not doing.
What do I care? She has lived with her name her whole life. It's her name. Why? She's not my property. I'm not rebranding her. I didn't just buy a cow from some other farmer and say, okay, time to restamp them. You're Farmer Fran's cow now. No. Get out of here. The professional, all these things we've heard hold truth to me as well. But it's really whatever she wants to do. Fortunately, I think I have a nice last name. It's simple. It's I don't know, 2 syllables, easy to spell.
Yeah.
It's not like Ellis. What's that? Where's that from?
Right.
Not too many.
Like the island.
Yeah, not too many phone calls. Where you're going to have to be like E as in eggplant, I as in iguana.
That's true.
2 L's like llama, you're not going to have to do that. So, if she wants my name, it's nice and easy. But I think she loves her last name. It means a lot to her. So if she wants to do the hyphenated name, great. Yeah. But then the real question will be like, well, what will our kids go by? And I think I'll probably let her make the call on that too.
Yeah. I just don't care, dude. Also.
Yeah, I don't care.
Really
care.
Whatever. Do what you want to fucking do.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, shit.
That's Farmer Fran.
Farmer Fran.
Gotta go brand my cows.
I'm gonna go brand his cow. I'm Julio. Please come to my New York Comedy Festival show, November 9th. Caveat.
Yeah.
Gonna be a lot of fun and different things going on. We're gonna interview the guys from the Rwanda video live from Rwanda. It's going to be a good time. Come check that out November 9th. Take a link in my bio. Chris wanted to say something about YouTube.
So we will be going forward and putting up a bunch more videos on YouTube, some extra content for you guys to watch. And our first video, we will be shooting a Q&A. So the way you leave questions is by subscribing to our channel and then leaving a comment on one of our latest episodes. And we can tell if you're subscribed. So subscribe, leave a comment on there. And then we have a ton of really funny stuff planned. They don't even know about what they're going to do, but we're going to put them through some fun stuff. And,
I love that, Chris.
Yeah. So subscribe and thank you.
And come see us at City Winery in New York City on December 1st. Tickets available at francisellis.com. Link in bio at Oops the Podcast on Instagram. Also on Julio's stuff. And we love you and thank you so much for listening to us. We'll see you on Thursday.